Never-ending supply of laundry. I swear, we go through so many loads. What in the world is he doing? We better check it out.
Yes, we will, fix you up, get you pretty, my precious.
What are you doing?
Open the Honda. Alright, we're back here in the Hillbilly Garage. Finally! I know you guys have been waiting and waiting. Some of you have anyway. We're finally going to get back to work here on Zippy. I got the other frame up in here ready to go. I already threw these other handlebars in there just for fun to play, and my little guy wanted to pretend he was driving, so we threw those on there. I did do a little bit of work off camera here. This motor is completely unbolted now. I've got all my motor mount bolts off, so she's ready to come out except for one thing, and that is my exhaust here on this side. Now, thankfully, my header bolts here came out without any difficulties. However, even though this bolt here, my muffler is loose, this guy here is completely stripped out, so I cannot get that out or off of there, at least easily. But since I have a whole new exhaust system, I don't need to save this. So to make things easy, I'm going to cut this here or here somewhere, and we'll just take her off, and then I should be able to take the motor out that way. So I'm going to get a hacksaw or the Sawzall, which I might have up here actually. I'm going to cut that exhaust pipe off. We're going to get this motor pulled out, clean up the outside a little bit, and we'll start tearing it down. And then if I have to order anything, we'll get stuff ordered. And if I do have to order while I wait for that, we'll start moving the rear suspension components here over to our donor frame. So I'm glad you're with me today. Stick around. Fun shenanigans and a lot of hard work are sure to ensue. Alright, now theoretically, guys, this should come out. Ooh, maybe I better take my shift lever off first to play it safe. I don't know if it'll get in the way of anything or not, but oh, that's wrong size. Nice thing about having this guy seeping oil out here is it's kind of kept all my bolts and stuff lubricated. Excuse me, and kept it all from getting rusted fast. Give that some love tap. So, that's coming. Just a little wiggle, wiggle, woggle. Little wiggle, woggle. You say wiggle, woggle? Nah. She's coming. There we go. All right, shift lever. Now, I think this guy should be all free.
Yes, it goes.
There we go.
Yes. Daddy, we do not need.
Oh, she's free! Whew. That's a heavy little thing.
Yep, it is.
Alright. And now that I have it on the work bench, I realized that I didn't drain the oil out of it. Not that there's liable to be much oil in it the way it leaks, but at least the oil drain bolt, at least the oil drain bolt is here on the side, so I can just pull her to the edge here, like so, pop that bolt off, and catch what little oil still remains in it. Maybe what I'll do before I tear any of this down is get some brake cleaner, clean this guy up a little bit, and then we'll start tearing her down. First things first, let's get the oil out of it.
Yeah, let's do it, Dada.
Well, let's see what kind of shape this oil is in, if there even is any oil in it after all this time. Should have done this while it was still in the motor. Oh boy. Alright, I need a little more leverage. So I'm turning this truck on the floor.
Yeah, it's funny.
There we go.
Yay,
Yeah.
Daddy did it.
Let's see if I can hit my pan, if there is any oil in this.
There's oil.
Somebody had a gasket seal around that at some point. And there is oil. And it actually doesn't look too bad. We'll let that drain.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign that our oil looks fairly good coming out of there. Alright, so we got the old oil drained out of here. I got this guy sitting on cardboard. I'm going to take a wire wheel, see if I can't find my wire brush as well. Clean the outside of this engine case up a little bit before we tear into it. Which that's just going to be kind of boring, tedious work. So I'm not going to bore you guys with that. But what I will do is just go ahead and cut to that all finished and to when I start tearing into this guy. Alright, I got some of that grime off there as best I could without tearing everything apart. I didn't get too picky because I'm going to start tearing apart anyway. However, I did see something that got me a little worried. This right here, the lighting's not too good for you guys, but has all been, by the looks of it, JB welded. So I don't know if this has been cracked here at one point. I mean, it looks good and solid, but this could be where I'm getting all this oil seepage. Won't know till I tear into it farther, but I'm gonna go ahead, pull the pull cord recoil off, start tearing this guy down a little bit. So I'll probably cut to a time lapse and give you some nice soothing music to listen to as I work. Alright guys, I'm going to crack up in the top here real quick. Take a peek in here. Hopefully these bolts come without difficulty. I'm liking it so far. And like I said, I have all new gaskets and stuff to go in here, so that won't be a problem. Yeah, she's looking nice and clean in there. Liking what I'm seeing so far. We got our valve cover off. Everything looks pretty good in there. I'll have to clean it up a little bit for our new gasket. It's not too bad a shape. Next thing I'm going to do is take the head off. So we're going to pull our spark plug. We'll take our rocker arm adjustment bolts or lock bolts out to take tension off of those. And then it's just 2 bolts here, which I've already moved, and this 1 bolt here. And I'll have to take our chain, our cam chain tensioner. We'll go ahead and pull this loose and take this out so we have slack in there to undo this. And we'll go from there. Give her some love taps. There we go. Easy enough. And there's our cam chain tensioner. Spin her back around. Now I'm going to take a marker and mark where these are. These are our rocker arm adjusters here. One for the intake side, one for the exhaust side. We'll mark it so we know when we put stuff back together that we have a baseline. And I guess before I tear this apart, I want to go ahead and pull these caps and make sure we're at top dead center. Get some gloves on too, because I've already got my hands all greasy. So anytime you're adjusting your valves or adjusting your rocker arms, you always want to make sure you're at top dead center. And to do that, you just simply take this plug out and spin her till you see the mark. Let me spin her here and then I'll try to get you zoomed in. I'm going to need a flashlight. Where's my flashlight? Inside. Alright, right there. I don't know how well the GoPro will pick this up, or if I can get the light in there for you guys to see very well. But there's a T in there. You line that T up with that little notch right there, and that is top dead center here on the crank. And these are labeled too, if you guys are curious. There's an EX here for exhaust side rocker arm and an IN for intake side. So pretty easy to not get them mixed up. Now I gotta take this little guy out here, and then that should lift up off for us. Probably with a few love taps. Can I get that in there? Yes. She's already coming free. There she is. I'll tell you what, guys, for being an 86 and no idea how many miles or anything is on this stuff, my rocker arms, look at that. That's a Honda for you. They look brand new. No shaft play. The contact pads look pretty good. Again, we'll replace our gasket in here. But yeah, so far I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. We'll clean all this stuff up real good when we go to put her back together. I'm going to throw these back in here just so I don't lose them. Put them in loose. Sorry, I'm right up against the camera. You guys probably looking cross-eyed trying to see. Okay. This guy goes to the head. Let's get our spark plug out next. Definitely can use a new spark plug. That guy's shot. Garbage ball. Everything looks good. We don't have any excess signs of wearing. Our cam looks pretty good. Our cam chain's good. But in order to take our head off to check our piston, our cylinder, and our piston rings, we'll go ahead and take our cam out, pull our timing chain off and set it aside so we don't lose it down inside the crank. And then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts there. These 2 here on this side. And our head should just lift up off. Our bearings look real good, which is a good sign. Now I need a piece of wire so I can hook our chain up, keep it from falling. Let's carefully work our chain off. And I'm just going to hook a piece of wire around it. Let's set right there. So here's our cam. It looks pretty good. Bearings are nice and smooth. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts there. And these 2 bolts here, which hopefully will come without provocation. Oh yeah. There. Don't want to lose it though. Oh no, she's gonna slip right off. Alright, I'm gonna take my wire. There she comes. We have a new head gasket, so this guy we no longer need. So here, guys, a little better look. Here is our head, and you can see our valves in there. They're carboned up a little bit. Probably what I'm going to do is see how well these clean up before I order some to replace. If they're in too bad a shape, I'll replace them. Same with our piston. It looks a little... I think our piston's going to clean up pretty well. I'll go ahead and pull the cylinder off now and see what kind of shape our piston ring is in, our piston and the bore of our cylinder itself. Nice thing about these older single cylinder engines like this Honda is, I mean, you guys have seen this stuff's fairly simple to work on. Even if you have not a lot of experience doing something like this, pick yourself up one of these good old climber manuals. I'm using that as a reference guide. And the stuff, it can be intimidating, but it is not awful difficult if you take your time. So let's go ahead and get the cylinder off. Alright, we're going to pull the cam chain guide up. It's just a piece of plastic. You want to check for wear on it. Your cam chain is slapping and rubbing. If your tensioner didn't have a proper tension, this could be a war. Ours looks to be in excellent shape, so we'll just clean that up before we reinstall. And now this should just pull off. It's probably going to take some love taps to loosen her. Just want to be careful. Some love taps on each side. Feels like she's coming loose, and I think she is. She's loose. And we're going to grab a hold of our timing chain. I got my gloves off again. I'm going to get my hands all dirty. And we're going to lift her straight up and off. Just take your time, go careful so you don't hurt your piston. There she is. Guys, I tell you what, the bore of my piston looks absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. No scoring. Wow, that is impressive. I don't know how well the camera can pick up in there. And if you can see that very well. Look at that. Some light cleaning. and we're gonna be good. Look at my gasket though, it's shot. We'll have to clean that up real good. But very, very impressive. If you guys, I don't know how well you can see down in there, but everything down in our crankcase looks beautiful. But I am going to pull these bolts, take the transmission side crankcase off so that I can replace the gaskets in there. But other than that, I don't think we need to tear into this any farther than what we have done right here. Alright, now we've got that stuff tore down. I got a rag in here. We're going to go ahead and remove this piston. So in order to take the piston ring out, in order to take the piston off, we got to get the piston dowel out, which it'll slide out, but there's little clips here on each side of the piston. We've got to take a small screwdriver and pop those clips out. I don't want to lose them down inside the crank, so I'm just putting some rags down in here to block the holes. And we'll pop that out, push that through, and take our piston off, and we can inspect our piston rings. But unfortunately, I had to sacrifice one of my favorite pairs of pants for some rags. Such is the woes of life. I could probably get some needle nose if I can find my needle nose. Needles! Needle nose! Where are you? There you are! No, you popped back in there, didn't you? One clip. Don't want to lose it. Two clip. Now this dowel, this piston, this should just push out. You might need to get an extension to push it. Oh, look at that, the 10mm socket's perfect size. Pull this guy out. Oh, she's too slippy from oil. Push it out a little farther. There we go. There's that. Now, our piston will lift right up off. Check inside here for any signs of wear and tear. The piston in these are aluminum. It looks good. All our little oil ports in there look good and free of debris. We'll still soak her a little bit and clean her up. Our piston rings actually look pretty good. Watch with these piston rings because they do have awful sharp edges. You don't want to bend them as you take them out. But I'm not going to bore you guys with all the cleaning up because it's basically going to be a lot of slow, tedious work to make sure I don't damage anything. Stick these guys in some solvent to help eat away stuff. Clean them off. Scrape this carbon buildup off of our piston. Again, I'll check my valves out, get those cleaned up and see how well they look and if I need to replace them or not. I think once we just get this carbon all cleaned up, we'll be in pretty good shape. Get all my old gasket off of there because we'll be replacing the gaskets. So the next time I catch back in with you guys, we should be reassembling this guy and we'll get her bolted into the new frame. And from that point, it ought to be a pretty quick reassemble process to transfer over our rear suspension onto the new frame. Of course, we'll be cleaning all that stuff up as well. So I'll have to get some plastics here before long, much to my dismay, because those are, in order to buy those new, they are super expensive. We're talking a couple $100 a piece for the front, for the rear, and for the tank cover. So if I could find a nice set of used ones, but those are few and far between. But I hope you enjoyed today's video as we tore down the 200sx motor. Again, pretty easy stuff if you take your time, are careful about where you place and stuff so you don't mismatch stuff and lose it or forget where it goes. Again, I have the climber manual there for reference if I need it. It's a big lifesaver. Those cost 32 bucks. But the nice thing about these old Honda engines is they're super simple, easy to work on, as you guys saw. So even if you don't have a lot of experience mechanically tearing down an engine or anything, take your time. It is not something that is overly complicated. So if you guys are excited to see this build, make sure you comment below, give this video a thumbs up before you leave, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you guys remember to hit that notification bell as well, especially if you're not getting notifications on when I am uploading. So I'm going to get to cleaning. You guys can get back to enjoying the rest of your day, evening, whatever you're watching this. And until next time, keep on riding! Appalachian Mountain Riders is brought to you in part by the following. The Honda Side-by-Side Club, because who knows the machines better than the owners that use them every day. Walker Evans Racing. When the path requires more than just ordinary, head on over to walkerevansracing.com. Torque Locker from Torque Masters Industries. When you want to explore the unexplored, head on over to torquemasters.com. And by my gracious supporters on Patreon.